we will not obey your unlawful and unconstitutional command to shoot, to kill innocent Kenyans.
It's actually very embarrassing to listen to a lawyer speak like that, or a supposed lawyer, because he could have attended a law school, but maybe did not understand the law. And I think for me, to be honest, Kipchumba Murkomen is an embarrassment to the legal profession based on those terms.
Police station, pick a result. Polisi bunduki. Ama mtu mwenye anasubiwa mawe polisi anataka kuua polisi ati atakuja kupembelezwa. Anafikiria bunduki ni mandazi.
President Harvey, what do you make of these sentiments? Are Kenyans overreacting?
If you were to listen to the 3 police officers who have answered Kipchumba Murkomen, then you'll get your answer. They have said, we will not obey your unlawful and unconstitutional command to shoot, to kill innocent Kenyans. So that on the basis of that, it is easy to discern the flaw in the directive by Kipchumba Murkomen. There is nobody who doubts the legality of the use of firearms by police officers. But the context in which this pronouncement by Murkomen are being justified is what has to be interrogated. First and foremost, the High Court has determined in Katiba Institute versus the Attorney General 397 of 2017 that the right to life, the right to a fair hearing is superior to the right of a police officer to use a firearm for the protection of life, for the defense of his life, and for the defense of the life of another person. Well, that takes us back to the use of reasonable force. And every policeman and a policewoman understands the moment you misuse your firearm, you are on your own. You will be charged with murder or manslaughter, and it will be upon yourself to demonstrate that you used reasonable force in the circumstances. And often, you'll be found guilty. Because if you're shooting at Boniface Kariuki, who only has a mask, how can you justify the use of brute force on him? You understand? Look at all the cases that were reported last week. I never saw a single incidence of a policeman confronting anybody looting a shop. But I saw so many incidences of policemen shooting innocent protesters. What is the name of this gentleman? Calligraph Jones. What was the underlying reason why they had to whip him? He was just walking innocently, and you could see these policemen were intent on provoking him so that a scuffle would ensue and shoot him. But with that said and done, police officers must realize that an unlawful command from anybody, the president, the cabinet secretary, the PS, the police spokesman, cannot be obeyed.
I think I want to say that one thing that baffles my mind is what happens to people when they get to power, when they get power and money. And I say that because over the years, Murkomen has been able to prove that he's a very reasonable person, somebody who understands the law, and somebody who do not allow other people to think for him. But the Murkomen of today, after getting power, and of course money, and proximity to the president, seems to have, abdicated his role, seems to have forgotten what he stands for, seems to have forgotten everything. Because some, You know, it's also embarrassing for somebody to say something today, and I'm referring to flip-flopping. Murkomen said in public, and it was all over for everybody to see. He ordered the police to shoot and kill anybody who approached a police station.
He didn't say kill.
And
let's be fair to him. He didn't say kill. He said shoot.
Shoot, yes. Of course, the police have not been shooting to immobilize recently. They have been shooting to kill. And he also referred to another power above him and said, these are not my instructions. These are instructions from above. And the above can only be one particular person, that is President RUTO. Because, you know, we are here discussing this matter this morning, Sam, because of the recent shootings by the police. And when Wakili Harvey tells you about Boniface Karaoke, who comes from my county, I mean, everybody saw what happened. This is somebody the police harassed. I mean, and he had actually even left. Then the police officer, I mean, I don't know what came to him. They shot him. We have not seen any police officer confronting a dangerous person, a looter, but very innocent Kenyans who are not armed. And so what I may want to say also some regarding to what the Honorable Russell has said. He has explained that, you know, the minister has no place in law to order police officers. And what Murkomen said to these police officers, well, he would just take it as just another comment by maybe a politician. But do the police understand the intricacies in this particular law? Mm-hmm. Because maybe Charles will explain to us, but I hear that the police take orders first and question later. So are you, Honorable Russell, telling us that an ordinary police officer will know that this CS for Interior was saying it for the cameras and it was not an order? And in the first place, why then give that particular kind of order?
Ukiona akikaribia police station, pita na yeye.
Akikaribia.
Yeah, akikaribia, pita na yeye. He went on there later to characterize it and said, mtu akiingia kuchukua armory, ama amekuja kuchukua bunduki, then you can go ahead, pita na yeye. In any of these two cases, where does the law apply here?
First of all, let me just say, it's actually very embarrassing to listen to a lawyer speak like that, or a supposed lawyer, because he could have attended a law school, but maybe did not understand the law. And I think for me, to be honest, Kipchumba Murkomen is an embarrassment to the legal profession based on those terms. First of all, he imagines a case where a member of the public goes to take hammery. Where is the evidence for that as a lawyer? Nobody even made such an attempt. Number two, to say that if you come closer, Ukikaribia police station, it's a public space. You know, what is wrong with a member of the public going to a police station? Ukikaribia. So, I mean, you know, it doesn't even make sense that if you go closer to a police, unless me, I'm a Kiswahili kidogo ndio English interpretation. Ukikaribia. So what is offensive about that? And he says he's reading the law. Where in the law does it say that if you come closer to a police station, then you must be arrested or you must be shot at? So I think for me, what Murkomen is doing is terrible, is a reflection of the poor, pathetic leadership that we have in this country today. And for President William Ruto, unashamedly, this is the face of his government. You know, this is the face of his government. So today you have Murkomen and some of those people who, and some of them are not even elected, actually speaking for government. And he, the president himself, has said nothing about that. And that's the tragedy in our country today. And if you recall, for example, what even happened in Tanzania to the Boniface Mwangi and the others, our president even went ahead and apologized to another state that actually tortured our own nationals. You know, so this is it reflects very badly on the image of our country. Yeah, and you know, today we know that our president is being associated with rebels, I don't know, M23, some of the killer guys in Sudan and all that. So that is the image. So when you hear a minister for Interior, who is supposed to protect all of us. We're supposed to have confidence in Mr. Kipchumba Murkomen. But when he speaks like that, first of all, when he says he's read the law, Article 37 of the Constitution of Kenya is crystal clear. As long as people are protesting peaceably, and that's the language in the law, then you don't have to. Why? For example, I see an image here of this fellow who was shot. He was just standing selling masks. Today, honestly, what has happened to those police officers?
Yeah.
The man was just standing, and they shot him, and we all saw it. So,
but looks like it's not really Murkomen speaking, because he said, just to quote him again, to take it beyond what we've just heard in that clip, he said, and he was addressing now to the police, is within this public space, surrounded by the public, but he was saying, addressing the police and saying, unatoroka tu wakati unaona ile yenye uko nayo hata ukipeleka 5-6 bado ni wengi, lakini iko vijinga ingine watu 10-20 wewe. So what he was trying to say is, you only run if you feel you don't have enough bullets to clear the people who are actually pursuing you. But then he went further and said, na hii sio yangu peke yake, ni amri kutoka juu. That's what he said.
Yeah, so amri kutoka juu, and that's why for me I connected what he said with the top leadership in the country, because it's a reflection. Amri kutoka juu inaweza kutoka kwa nani? In terms of the pecking orders, obviously, his appointing authority is the President of the Republic of Kenya. So he actually says, confirming that is the President who has given him that okay. And the President has not disputed, has not distanced himself from what his minister, his cabinet secretary has said. So he is confirming it is President William RUTO actually who is giving the orders.
Ekuru, you played an important role in drafting the Constitution 2010. And as we talk about the constitutionalism, the rule of law in the country, one would hope that the leadership of the country, including the police, would just play by the book and the rules. But today here we are talking in terms of the Constitution has been butchered so much, has been disrespected so much that those with the responsibility don't really care. What does this do to the trust that Kenyans have that those in leadership will play by the book?
For me, I am not surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised, because let's go back to the referendum of 2005 and the people who actually opposed that referendum. And let's go back to 2010, just before the promulgation of the Constitution. President William RUTO led a no campaign against the will of the people of Kenya. And Kenyans, about 70% actually voted for this Constitution. And I was, in that team. And we went around the country. And I remember we had just come from the post-election violence of 2007, 2008. And to be honest, we all believed at that time that Kenya was in the cusp of renewal. There was some renewal in the country. There was agitation, all question of inclusion. If you read the Constitution from chapter 1 all through, you can actually see this is the change Kenyans wanted.